Hey everyone, Ryan with American Mobile Training Solutions. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys had an incredible Easter Sunday, and if you saw our personal live, we had the puppers dressed up in little tutus and had an Easter egg hunt with them. So I hope you had a happy Easter, all things considered. Now we have all the puppies in here. So hopefully they don't knock something over, but if they do, oh well. Today we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of marksmanship and breath control specifically, and this is part of our series for the fundamentals of marksmanship, where we give you about a 10-minute increment for each of the fundamentals. And so far we've covered stance, grip, aim. Now we're on breath control, and tomorrow we will be doing follow through and recovery. Lucy, come here. Our golden doodle. She's not the smartest, but she is the most snuggled. So breath control is what we'll be doing, and remember that on the disclaimer here, whenever you're practicing there at home, we don't take any responsibility for that because you're not under direct supervision from an AMTS instructor. So please keep that in mind on any of the things that we're doing. It's for educational purposes, and for when we get our trainings online and things like that, it would be a totally different thing. But currently, it's just for educational purposes, so keep that in mind. Also, we have been doing this since 2013 professionally in American Mobile Training Solutions capacity. The dog's got me all thrown off here today. I'm worried they're going to knock something over. No, it's all right. I got to get used to it at some point. Anyways, this is one of our puppies. She's totally into it, I can tell. Can you change the slide?
Yes.
Ashton is helping me today too, so just remember, our focus, our one thing that we want to make sure you guys get is the best training, most up-to-date information, and best policies that you can put in place, whether it's for your residents, whether it's for you personally, or any type of training that you take. We don't really care. I mean, obviously we prefer if you train with us because we would love to get that out, but as long as you train with someone reputable, that's all that matters. Just make sure they're reputable. Next slide. And I already went over the disclaimer. So on our breath control, we have to consider two things. There's a lot more than just two aspects to it, but for our purposes today, we have our breathing cycle and something called a natural respiratory pause. And so those are the two things that we're going to focus on. And as you can see, I'm a little out of breath because I've been waiting for the last 10 minutes. I got this all set up and then I just had to sit there and wait. But today we're going to go over breath control and natural respiratory pause. So go ahead and go to the next slide, please. This is the very common breath diagram that you're going to see. Some people have fancied it up and some people have made it very, very comprehensive, but it doesn't have to be. And the idea here is that whenever you're breathing, you have a natural cadence. Everybody breathes differently, obviously, based on their stance, based on their physical fitness or lack of, etc., things like that. But everybody has a certain cadence in which they breathe, when they breathe in and when they breathe out. And so this is just highlighting the fact that, and we'll talk about that natural respiratory pause here in a minute, but it's just highlighting the fact that you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. And the idea is that during the firing sequence, you find that cadence that we're talking about, and while you can't ever eliminate all of the movement, you can minimize movement, and that's kind of what we're after. We're after this target area, which would be right here, and it doesn't necessarily have to be when you exhale. It doesn't have to necessarily be at the top of your, whenever you inhale. It doesn't even have to be 3/4. It's again entirely dependent upon the person, and so that natural cadence, you'll find you'll want to get into a rhythm for whenever you're firing, and so you'll breathe in, breathe out, hold, fire. Textbook says that you can hold your breath up to 5 to 7 seconds before you really start shaking. I generally like to reset after 3 to 5 seconds. So if I haven't fired between here and here in 3 to 5 seconds on my target, then I'm just going to reset. I'm going to breathe in, breathe out, and reset. And it'll look kind of like this if you can see. All right, so the longer the idea is like you're breathing, right? And it goes up and it goes down, and obviously I'm exaggerating it for you. But then whenever I hold my breath, I should fire within that next 3 to 5 seconds, and then I start my cadence. So then after I press the trigger, I don't like the word squeeze the trigger, but that's what I got. Press the trigger, in, out, hold, 3 to 5 seconds, fire, in, out, hold, 3 to 5 seconds, fire. You're allowing that natural cadence to go through. There's a lot more in-depth analysis on this stuff, but for an overview, understand that everybody has their own cadence, and you need to take advantage of your natural respiratory pause, which we're going to talk about next, and then between 3 to 5 seconds, sometimes it's as short as 2 seconds, sometimes it's as long as 7 seconds. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. You're going to want to press the trigger and follow through on that action to your target. Next slide, please. Now we're going to talk about hold control, which is during your natural respiratory pause. You're going to have, so what this represents is I'm going up and down, right? And then as I concentrate, once I start holding on my natural respiratory pause, I've got about 3 to 5 seconds. As you can see, after about this, you're going to start getting more squiggly. You're going to settle in after about 3 seconds, and you've got that 2 to 3 second window where you're going to be most minimal on your movement. And then that's whenever your time on target needs to happen. That's whenever you need to have that firing sequence that takes effect, where you press the trigger, follow through, you breathe out, you breathe in, whatever it is, you reset, and then you re-enter your natural respiratory pause. So it should look like fire, recoil, breath in, breath out, natural respiratory pause, fire, repeat, repeat, repeat. Obviously it's different if you're moving, it's different if you're walking, it's different on the position, it's dependent upon that stuff, but that's just a quick recap. So we talked about breath control, we talked about natural respiratory pause, we talked about hold control. The reason why this stuff is good information is because this is one of the few things that most people, you breathe naturally, you don't think about it. And I've been guilty of it too. I'll have a 40 or 60 second course with multiple targets, and I have to run from one lane to the other, and I get done with it, and I'm just like, sucking air. And the whole time, even me, like I forgot to breathe. The whole time I was just holding my breath. And so there are different schools of thoughts on it. Some people say you need to breathe through the firing cycle. Some people say you need to hold your breath during the fire cycle. I say it's dependent upon the person and what you're most comfortable with. I also think it's a matter of repetition, and if that you don't practice it, you're not going to remember it. But to each their own. I say this is the information that we put up. Again, it gets much more in depth, much more in detail. And all the girls are kind of settled in now, looks like. Anyways, next slide. If you guys have any questions on the fundamentals of marksmanship, please direct message us, please contact us. Also, I know I don't say it, I don't really say it, but please like and share and do all the social media stuff to help get this information out there if you would. If it's something that you find valuable, maybe some of your friends find it valuable or family find it valuable. If you know someone who's thinking of purchasing a firearm or has purchased a firearm, situational dependent, but we would love to have a conversation with them and help them in any way that we can. So, do we have any comments or questions?
Chris is watching, Chris Roberts.
Oh, hey Chris. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. But yeah, so thank you for everything. And the puppies are about to destroy the tripod, I think, but that's all right. They're getting bored. Thanks, guys, for everything. Please like, share, send it to your friends. Not just this one, but any of the videos that we've posted over the last several weeks. Feel free to comment. Feel free to set appointments with us. We're trying to get the word out there, and anything that you guys can do to help, we certainly appreciate it. So thanks for your time. Have a great day. Stay safe.